Yeah, I request Pranay to welcome to day four, class MCP framework. Pranay, it's you to start now. Yeah, I think you can just like recall what we did yesterday and then start your stuff. Okay, thank you so much.
Sure, sir. So I will share my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi. Hello all. Good morning from who is joining from USA and good evening from India to Indian people. Yeah. So actually, till yesterday we have learned about what are AI agents and what are the different types of AI agents and how we can integrate like tools. Along with that, on day two, Ganesh has explained all about like how you can develop an AI agent using LangGraph. And in yesterday's class as well, we have taught about how you can leverage through AI and all, and you can develop AI agents. Okay, so right, so I think everyone understands what AI agents are. But I will give you like a one or 2 minutes explanation. Like AI agents are like a software systems that use AI to pursue goals and also like completes tasks on behalf of users. So they showcase like reasoning capabilities. They can execute, plan, and also they have memory capabilities, and that can leverage and take autonomous decisions. And it can also learn, refine, and adapt to situations based upon the task at hand. So these are like AI agents. So as we can see, like AI agents, right? So in terms of like building AI agents, it is like complex if you go into production environments, because as we have been mentioning, right? So you can integrate a lot of tools, external databases, internal databases. Along with that, you can also integrate APIs from other enterprise who are providing their APIs. We can all integrate to an AI system so that the AI system will work on itself and adapt to the situations and send the query to the requested tools or like necessary tools or systems and get data. But if you are developing AI systems in a production environment, so if you have like a lot of tools, you have a lot of APIs in your company infrastructure, and you have a lot of databases, and you want to integrate it in a modular fashion, and you don't want to write like redesign all the APIs or all the infrastructure in the company. So you don't want to do that. So you just want to leverage the existing infrastructure and you want to use that infrastructure and build AI systems. So that's where model context protocol architecture comes into place. So today I will be like deep diving into the core components of modern AI agent design. So like using MCP and how it can be used, how it can enable the scalability of the AI systems and AI ecosystem. And along with that, so you can think like MCP is like a glue. It's like a glue that connects LLMs with real world tools. You can integrate as many number of tools as you want, and it can be done in a modular fashion. Like you I will show you in the project, and I will also explain you deep dive into the MCP component. Uh, and it is also easy to maintain compared to like a complex workflow. For example, on day two, if you have seen the videos, like Ganesh has explained you an AI system, right? So it has an AI system where it has a routing logic, and that routing logic is written in such a way that it sends the query to the associated tool that is available. Okay, but here if you have like a lot of tools per se, and it is difficult to maintain the routing logic as well. And if you write a routing logic as well, it is very complex. For example, if you have like 10 different systems, and if you want to write a routing logic, it will take like almost 100 different connections, almost 50 different connections for those 10 different tools. but you can do with an MCP protocol. So MCP has been developed by Anthropic, uh, 6 months ago. So what it does is it binds the real world tools data in a modular and maintainable fashion. Okay, so yeah, I will be deep diving into that. So first, what is MCP? So MCP is a model context protocol. So as we have been teaching you from right from the starting, right? Whenever you provide context to an LLM, so it generates better answers. But as we can see, we have a lot of data and a lot of tools available in the internet, but you want to leverage those and you want to integrate into AI systems and you want to do routing. Along with that, you also want to integrate the memory component and everything. So it will be a lot of code. Along with that, you cannot maintain in a production environment, and it is impossible to maintain. So what this protocol does is it is coming up with a protocol where you can do provide the context to the model, okay, in a simple way. So here you don't have to write a lot of code. You have to write a lot of code, but it's not much compared to the simple AI systems. So this is the problem many companies have been facing while developing AI systems as well. If they have like two to three different tools or databases, it is impossible to integrate everything and observing where the issue is going on, and then checking with that, like integrating, and also that fine tuning the overall AI agent. It is impossible to do that. So here, model context protocol comes in. So what model context protocol is like is an first I will explain what MCP like. MCP is an open and evolving standard that is by Anthropic. So it simplifies how we interact with LLMs with the external world or external data. So it uses universally, like it uses simple API design concepts. Okay, along with that, we can use MCPs like a plug and play servers. For example, I'll explain you the architecture component as well in the next slides. But it is easy to integrate compared to any other AI systems. Okay, and for example, in theoretical, for example, if you take a cloud desktop, okay, if you have a cloud desktop or something, so if you ask a question, something like that, something related to recent uh, Walmart uh, filings of the filings of their data, like for the government. So how did they do in the last quarter? So it could not able to answer it. Whereas if we integrate an MCP component where it can have a tool at its access, and then what it does is it just gets into the internet and searches the internet and then gets back the answer. It's something like that. So I will show you the project as well. So what MCP does is like MCP is like an easy interface for LLMs. For example, how I can explain MCP in a simple way. If you know like USB-C, right? So earlier we used to have like your different cables, like different ports. For example, if you want to use a LCD screen, so you have to have a different port. If you have an pen drive, you have to have a different port. For charging, different port. For everything, like, so for you have to swap different things. You have to have a lot of ports in your laptop. But whereas if you see here, okay, so if you see here, right now every laptop is coming up with only two to three different C-type ports. That's it. So what everyone has converted to C-type, right? So in the same way, whereas if you are developing AI systems, so you are coming up with an MCP, like a C-type port type architecture. Okay, so this C-type port here, if you see here, this is integrated to the company's clients. For example, it can be it is an AI system. Okay, so this MCP is integrated to this client, and the overall headache related to the how you maintain MCP and everything, like if you integrate a Gmail, if you integrate Slack, if you integrate your company's uh, databases, if you integrate any APIs related to your company environment, anything that can be integrated directly to MCP, and different teams can manage different MCP servers, and backend they can develop integrate more features into the MCP, and you can integrate this into your front end applications,
Uh,
which is an MCP
Pranay,
clients.
sorry to disturb you. Can you put it in presentation mode? There are people requesting to put it in presentation mode.
Sure.
Yeah, like go slideshow and then yeah, that's correct. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Yeah. So this what this does is like it reduces lot of noise, and along with that it makes AI systems easy. But how does this happen? What is the architecture behind it? So I will explain you so that you can remember for a long time how this MCP works. But as I have been mentioning, right, it is simple to use. It is like one port solution for all problems. But why do we need MCP? As I have been already mentioned, right? So it is an universal uh, universal architecture that can be integrated. For example, in your company, you have like data source and you have an API, for example. But if you have an API, what happens is like you have to wrap an API to a tool. Then what happens? That tool is used in the routing logic, and that routing logic has to route to the tool. Okay, so that tool gives you the response whenever you give an request, then that response is sent back to the LLM. So if you can see here on the right side of the image, so we have developed the AI system using LangGraph, something similar to that in the second day of our boot camp. So what we have shown is here at the edge where to go. So that's where the routing logic we have to write. For example, if we don't have end, we have like lot more tools, like 10 more tools. It is impossible to maintain those tools in the routing logic. Along with that, for example, it has to go back and it has to search for the different tool. For example, you have what LLM does is like it says to use one tool, but in that tool, it was not able to get the information, and you have to write what you have to write a routing logic again back to the original node. Okay, and to the original node, it has to send the state like I have used this tool, and this tool did not get the answer, and then it has to go to the routing logic, and then routing logic has to search for the other tool. But what happens here is back lots of back and forth, everything happens. Like along with that, uh, if you use different tool like different what we call let me take an example of like APIs, for example. If you have like an OpenAI API, so switching to Claude or switching to Llama, that is also painful because you have a configuration file and everything, and you have to change the uh, logic over there. But what happens here is whenever you are using MCP in your company's infrastructure, it is a model agnostic tool. What it does is it can switch immediately depending upon the uh, task at hand. Along with that, there are also different components on security, and along with that, there are also different components where it works well compared to simple AI systems. But so right now, I have told you right, like it makes life easier when our developers are developing AI systems. Along with that, it also reduces a lot of code which we write for the routing logic. And there is also a study going on that showed that, for example, whenever you are using more than 12 tools, it is impossible to maintain, for example, the AI system. Okay, then to scale as well. So no company wants to start a project after reading those kind of news or articles. So what happened? MCP. So MCP solves this problem. But what is the architecture behind it? So it is a protocol, as I have been mentioned, which what it does is it converts the complex system into a simple framework, and it divides everything into digestible formats where different teams can maintain different things. Okay, and then this architecture will helps us to like this architecture will reduces lots of errors. Okay, so if you see here, this is the architecture. This is an important component in order to understand MCP. For example, if you see here, so whenever an user sends a query, for example, in MCP, there are like three different components. I forgot to mention, there are like three different components. One is the host, okay? One is the client, and the other one is the server. So these are three. So everything that is related to AI agents, you can convert this into like buckets into three different buckets. One is the host, one is the client, and one is the server. Okay. So what is an host? For example, hosts are like a applications or IDEs or a desktop application, something a chat interface or a Streamlit application. So that is an host where a front end, where a user can see, like user can interact. He sends a query, that is an host. If you see ChatGPT, that is an host uh, for ChatGPT application. Okay, and that is an host. In host, there is a server. Like you can integrate servers to the host using the client. Okay, so as have been mentioned here, right? MCP server, I have wrote server, right? But in host, there is a client. I have not mentioned in the image, but in the host, there is a client, MCP client. So MCP client is like MCP is integrated into the MCP host. Okay. So what happens here is whenever user sends a query, that query is sent back to the client first. Okay. So in the client, I will show you client. What is a client? A client can be like a simple JSON object. Okay. Integrated to a Python script. Okay, in that JSON object, you host different servers. Like you can host a GitHub server, external database, internal database, Slack channel, messages or Slack channels, right, Slack. Along with that, you can also host a different APIs related to the company's infrastructure. So these are the different servers. Then these servers are integrated to the host through a client. Okay, client is a single Python script, and there is no routing logic. Just in the client, you will say that so these are the available servers in the environment. So you're not writing any logic. So you have to select this MCP server for this. You are not writing anything. So these servers are all maintained by the companies itself, who like are the teams itself. So those teams expose these servers. Okay. And what happens is, for example, I will explain you the workflow, how what happens when a user sends a query. First, when a user sends a query, any kind of query or uh, when in a front-end application sends an request. So what it does is already in the host. So host can be a chat application or a Streamlit front-end UI, or it can be a React UI, it can be anything. Okay. So whenever an user sends a query, that query is first sent to the client. So in the client, so you there are like different servers available. So it sees what are the clients available right now. Okay, right now there are like 6 different clients available. Okay, so what it does is the query, if you see at the second point, the query along with list of MCP server list that are available is sent to an LLM. Okay, so right now what LLM does is LLM thinks. Okay, so right now user has sent this query, something like something related to financial statements. So right now I will be showing a project as well on how simply we can integrate all of this. Okay, so for example, I want to know the financials of Walmart for the past quarter. Okay, I want to do that. Okay, and I have sent that query. And right now I have a lot of clients available in my host. So what it does is, along with the query and list of servers available, it is sent to the LLM. So what LLM does is it thinks, okay, right now he is asking this question. I don't know this information, but what are the available clients? Okay, here is the list of clients available, servers available. Okay, I will see to the server. Okay, this server might will work better. Okay, and what it does is it calls that server. I can what it is it sends the request to the servers or server. It can be one server or it can be multiple servers depending upon the complexity of the problem. So LLM directly sends uh, query like a request to the server. So then what this server does is, so depending upon the available components in the server, the server you get the response back. So the server sends the response. What LLM does is again it thinks, okay, this is the response I got. Okay, what I have to do next? So the next step. So the back and forth, the 3 and 4. So everything happen simultaneously. So you don't have to write any code for the routing logic. So what happens this? So as we have seen, right? So in the earlier classes, we had to write the routing logic, especially so where it has to go back. But right now, everything is taken care by LLM. So this is the architectural component. So it has clients. Clients can be applications, cursor desktop. It can be a cursor desktop, a Claude desktop. It can be a front-end application. It can be any front-end application. Okay, those are all application hosts. Sorry, hosts. Okay, in that host, you integrate MCP client. Okay, so you are just integrating MCP client. So in the host, and there are MCP servers hosted separately, and there is an LLM. So you have divided into 3 different components: host, client, server, LLM. Like LLM is already integrated into the overall infrastructure. But if you see the environment, there are only 4 different things: host, servers, LLM, and a client. Okay. This is the architecture of MCP. So if you want to come up with a real world analogy of what this MCP architecture is. So if you, many of you have been working or knows the web browser architecture, right? So for example, web browser, something like a Chrome desktop or Chrome application or Firefox, right? So that is an host, that is a browser. Okay. So whenever you ask a question related to something, so that API gateway is like a Nginx or Kong proxy layer. And there are like if you there are like backend APIs. So it can be any microservices or something that are being hosted on the server. So this is a simple world analogy. It can be something like that. So if you take one more example, like a mobile phone. So mobile phone is an host. Okay, so the software development kit that is available in the mobile phone, that can be a client. It can be retrofit. if you know about SDKs of mobile phones, like Apollo client, that is also one of the client for mobile development, mobile application development. Then there the servers are like backend APIs. Okay, so this is the real world analogy of an MCP. So right now I have told you, right, the host can be like Cloud Desktop, Cursor ID, Slack chat, and along with that you can also have like Streamlit applications. These are the hosts, and the clients are integrated directly into the host. Client is like MCP client. Then there are servers. So right now, what are the available servers currently, which can be free to use? For example, uh, if you want to do web search, there is like a Brave search that Brave has provided their own tool. You can integrate that to an MCP and you can do web searching. Then there is Puppeteer, which is from Google. Then there is DuckDuckGo, that is also a web search tool. If you want to like integrate GitHub as well, like GitHub repos, GitHub lab, GitHub, that is also one tool, right? If you want to search, for example, develop a AI system where, so in a big company repo, you want to do which team is doing something, some kind of work, like something like an AI system, and if you want to change the logic or something like that. So that's going to be a like bigger project, but you can integrate a GitHub to a simple tool. Okay, so it can be also in Postgres, Redis, Google Drive, data. It can be anything such related to data. So what AI system does is it sends a SQL query to the database directly. Along with that, you can also integrate different tools, weather APIs, and everything. Anything can be integrated with the MCP server. So right now, I will see a couple of questions, and then I will also go through a couple of examples on how we can develop AI systems using MCP in an easier way compared to AI systems using LangGraph. LangGraph is also used, but with only using LangGraph, it will be hard. Where you integrate LangGraph with MCP or Crue with MCP or AutoGen with MCP, it will be lot much easier to develop AI systems. Okay, let me see. Are there any like questions? Is it an open source? Yes, it is an open source framework. Can me explain me in some examples? It's confusing. Okay, I did explain. Okay, which let's say the company uses for this calculation, it is just dependable. Yes, yeah, for this question, so for example, these Google Sheets, HubSpot, SQL, Redshift, everything, right? So those can be hosted in an MCP, hosted as an MCP server, individual components, like Google Sheets as an MCP server, okay, HubSpot as an MCP server, everything as an MCP server. So all those servers are integrated using one Python script called MCP client, and that client is directly integrated to a front-end application. Okay, so then you can develop AI systems. It's a company. So it's the host part is missing. The host is where we are fitting the host. Host is like a front-end application. It can be anything. So I will show you an example. So what the host can be, and so we won't be teaching. Okay, yeah, servers are equivalent to tools are hosted as a servers. Okay, that's the main component here. So, for example, that's okay. So right now I will be showing you one project. Okay, how you can develop using an MCP. For example, I have my Claude Claude app. Okay, so I have written a query. This query copy. I will ask a question. So what is the most recent quarterly SEC filing submitted by Walmart as of today, May 2025, 2025? So Walmart is a company, right? So they on a monthly and quarterly basis they submit their financial reporting to a government agency. So here in US it is an SEC. So what I'm asking is, can you give me the information related to that? So what I will ask this question to a Claude desktop. So right now it's saying like I cannot have access to this because uh, yeah. So it is saying something like this right now. Right now this is the host, okay? So this is the host. Right now what I am doing is I am going to the developer settings in the cloud and I'm seeing whether MCP is being added as a client. For example, go to settings. So there is a developer setting right now. So this developer setting is an MCP client. Okay. It is already integrated to the desktop application. Okay. Right now, what I did was like I have an weather API, LinkedIn or Notion edit config. So what I did, this is a configuration file. So what I am trying to do is right now I want to give this host the capability of using internet. Okay. So right now what I am doing is I am giving capability of to using internet. Okay. So right now, if you see here, Puppeteer is a powerful Node.js library developed by Google that allows you to control Chrome or Chromium browsers programmatically. Okay. Right now, I am giving this desktop application host cloud application and the access to an open source framework that is developed by Google. So it directly goes through Chrome and fetches information related to that. Okay, so this is Puppeteer. Right now, Puppeteer direct what is in MCP. So if you see here MCP servers, so there are like lot of available servers provided by the company. So GitHub, Git, Google Maps, Postgres, they have Puppeteer. So these all of them have provided their own servers available in the MCP open source framework, open source library, like not library, sorry. Yeah. So here I am going to this. So I am going to the down how I can integrate. So using with Claude, I want to do that. So if you see here, Claude, I want to use this. So this is the code. I will copy this JSON object like JSON. And what I am doing is I will again go to file, setting, developer, edit config. So this is the configuration file I have. So configuration is what are the available servers. Okay, I'm opening it. Right now I have provided only weather, uh, LinkedIn, Notion, right? So I will be adding one more. Okay. So let's see, did I copy correctly? So right now I'm not sure whether I copied correctly or not. So let me go back and uh, okay. I have already did context. Okay. So this is the see, here is a Puppeteer. I'm just copying the original one. Okay. See, right now I have added Puppeteer as a server in a config file. Okay. Then I'm saving this. I'm closing this. I'm also closing this. So right now I want to check. I want to close Claude and I have to rerun it. Okay. Right now I have closed the Claude. I'm opening Claude again. So right now, see here, Puppeteer has been enabled. Right now, I have access to different tools available via Puppeteer. So they have provided like 6 to 7 tools to do internet searching. Okay, so this is the host. What I did, host already has integrated with the MCP client, and I have just added a configuration file where I have provided access to Puppeteer. And right now, I will ask the same question again. Copy right now. See here what happens. So what it's doing is first, I can't help you with the Walmart's most recent quarterly SEC filings. Let me search SEC because it has access to Puppeteer. Okay. So it has directly opened a web SEC government website. Okay. So next, see this. So what it does, it opens first, then it takes a screenshot. What's available in the what's happening. So it always takes screenshots as human does, right? So whenever we are scrolling, so whenever we are searching for something, what we do? Oh, okay, so that's the link I have to go. So you see through your eye, and then you click on it. Same thing this Claude is doing. Okay, so it is navigating, it is taking screenshot in order to after that it is evaluating what is present in the screenshot. Then I can see there is a search filling ink. Okay, so it was able to see that what's happening. There is a search bar where I can search. Then again, it goes to the search bar and it does takes a screenshot again. Okay, then again, what it does, you can try this because what it does is it is not making a systematic format. So whatever is available on the screen, it is going back and forth and searching for the exact information what it wants. Okay, if you can see here, again, perfect. I found Walmart page. So right now, what it does is like it searched this, it got the response something like this. Okay, perfect. It found Walmart. Then it is also clicking again. It is again expanding the Walmart reportings. Then it is clicking related to K10 and K10Q sections. So those are the sections that are needed to in order to get the information. And again, it is examining, evaluating. So did I find the exact one? Then again, it is evaluating. So it's good. It what it does is like there are some available tools Puppeteer is providing in order to do internet search. So it is going back and forth. It is doing entire thing. Then excellent. So I can clearly see Walmart, something like that. So it was able to find the exact search. Okay. Right now. And I can also ask few more queries. So uh what is the profit margin they have mentioned? Okay. Sorry, because right now, Claude in the desktop, it doesn't. I don't have a pro version. I don't have a limit. But what it does is, again, it goes back to the same internet, and it goes to the document. Okay, so it opens the document, and it scrolls down the document to the exact section where it has, and it tries to get the information from the screenshot. Again, it sends back to the Claude and Claude analysis and provides you the answer. So Yeah, so this is one project where this is like a simple use case for the external world. Okay, where you can use a Claude app and where you can integrate MCP. Already Claude is integrated with MCP, and along with that, what it does is like it does all the agentic behavior using the tools. Okay, so right now I have integrated like a Puppeteer, right? So to do other project, for example, right now I will ask weather reporting, something related to weather. So I will ask a new chat. What's the weather in Washington DC? Okay, so right now I live here. Okay, so what's the weather in Washington DC? So what it does is I don't have the access. Okay, right now again I will do enable this tool. I will copy the question again. I will chat. I'm giving, this is the first time I'm trying. So whenever you're doing first time, so you have to give the permissions to go to the external website. Okay, allow always. So see here, same thing. You can expose any kind of data APIs as a server, and you can integrate it directly to the application which you are using. It can be a chat interface, it can be anything. So this is one project. But how do you come up with, for example, in a company infrastructure, you will be using a simple front-end application or something. Yeah. Along with that, I will be closing all of this. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I will be showing you one more project. Okay, right now. So where you can integrate MCP into your simple applications, how you can do in a company infrastructure. So right now I will be showing you a code. Okay, I'll be closing this. So this is one more project which I have did. So it is related to right now in a company infrastructure, you want to use an open source LLM, for example. Okay. So whenever you are using an open source LLM, that LLM has to be uh, running in an application. Right now, think of my computer as an uh, a server, like where you host applications, right? It can be a Kubernetes or EC2. Think of my computer as something like that. So right now I have Ollama, which is Ollama is a application that helps us to run open source LLMs. Okay, what you can do is in order to do something like this or Ollama, right? So if you see here, first you have to download Ollama. Okay, once you download Ollama, so you have an application that helps you to that helps us to run open source LLMs right now. Okay, so what I did was I am using an DeepSeek model that is an open source. Okay, so DeepSeek R1 I am using 1.5 billion model. Okay, right now. So if you see here, Windows Ollama run DeepSeek R1. For example, if you see here, so I am running Ollama in my local. If I ask question, what is Gen AI? See, it is generating an answer, right? So right now I am running an open source LLM in my computer. Okay. So that is a LLM. From the image as I've shown you, here if you see here in the image. So right now I have an LLM in my local. Okay. Then what I have to do? I have to come up with a server a host. Okay, so these are the two different things. So right, I will show you the project what is available here. So right now, okay, open this CMD. So right now, COD code. Okay. So this is an, yeah, here if you see here. So I'm using Ollama, which I have mentioned you, where there is an LLM. Along with that, I'm integrating one tool. Okay, this is the Python script I have used. So what is this project related to? So this project is related to wiki summary. For example, a Wikipedia, right? So you want to get a summary of the Wikipedia using MCP and using local LLM, and you have to get the information related to uh, Wikipedia. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is I'm coming up with an Ollama server code. First, what I am doing here is first I am giving this MCP a name wiki summary. Okay. So here, this is a project related to wiki summary. It can be one tool, it can be many number of tools. Okay. Then what I'm trying to do is here in the tool. So what I did, I have did summarize Wikipedia article, a Python function. What it does is, so what first you are giving an input URL of Wikipedia. Okay. So first what it does is it is validating whether the input is right or correct or wrong. Okay. Once you get the input, then it is using beautiful soup, which is an uh, uh, content extraction tool. Okay. Framework, open source library, so that where you can extract all the information from the URL. Okay. So here I am passing it through that. Then I'm converting the HTML to text. So it extracts in HTML format. Then I'm converting to text. So I am also given a prompt, summarize the following text, markdown text. Okay. So what I'm saying it to use DeepSeek model using chat response with an Ollama. Okay. Then I have did something related to exception handling and all. So if you see here, so this is the main Ollama server where I have integrated one tool. You can come up with many number of tools. Okay. So this server is using LLM. Okay. Here. And the next one is the front-end application. For example, right now I am using Streamlit as a front-end application where a user asks a question. Right now, I have not developed a full-fledged Streamlit application, but right now I have what I did was like I have given a URL, direct a URL related to Wikipedia summary. So when you provide a URL, what it does is it sends back it goes to the all the infrastructure which I have integrated, and then it gets back the response related to summarization. So what this script does is like Streamlit, it is just a front-end application where see here Streamlit host. I have provided with two different buttons. One is related to what is the available MCP server. So right now the MCP server which I have developed, he is hosted in this local URL. Along with that, the article which I have providing. So this article is we have to go on the internet and search, right? So this is the article. Once you provide this article, so what this Ollama does is like it searches the internet through Beautiful Soup, get the HTML information, then HTML is converted to text, and that text is passed along with a prompt to a tool. In everything is in the tool. Okay, so that's what happens, and you get the relevant information related to summarization. So there is one more called client. Okay, right now, what is a client? So you have to let know the LLM that so these are the available servers along not server, sorry, I am mistaking. So client is like you have to let know the front end application. So this is the client we have. So as I have shown you in the Claude, so there is a developer settings, right? So they have already integrated client. So right now in my application, I am integrating client using this Python script. Okay. So right now I will show you how what happens in the code level while we use this code. For example, uh, first I have to first I have to run the Ollama server related to the tool, right? So that server should be available for use. How do I do it? So for example, if you see here, this is a project I am in. I have to, I will do in okay, cd.venv. Yes, I'm activating the environment. Okay, so if you use Python or something, you know how to use like environments. That is a like basic thing whenever you're developing a project or something. So right now cd, I am going to the project folder. This is the project folder. What I have to do right now? I have to run the server. The server has access to one tool, which is a summarization tool. Okay, how do we do it? Uv run Ollama .py. So if you see here, this is the server code which I have written. I will just do enter. So waiting for application startup completed. So right now it is running. So this server is running. Okay, done. Right now the server is available for the agent. Okay. Right now I want to use the front end application. So how do I run the front end application? Again, same dot. I am starting the environment. Then I am activating. I'm going back to the project folder. Right now I have started the environment. And I have also written the front-end application code. So if you see here, in order to run the front-end application, so I will run the command like streamlet run let run streamlet new.py. So the front-end application, this is the code I have written. So this is the Python script. So here streamlet underscore new.py. Okay, so I am running this. So right now it's running, it's opening up my front-end application. Okay, so this is the available server. As I have already told you, right? I am already running the server. The server is available for using the tool for doing summarization. And this is the Wikipedia article I am giving. So I'm asking about India. I'm running it. So it will take some time because it is running locally, right? So, and I have a laptop of like i7 with a 16 GB RAM. So it might take some time to get back and forth the entire process. If you have seen in the cloud as well. So there are different steps going on. Okay, and I have not integrated the observer the what is going behind and everything. So I have not written the code. But if you see here, what I did was like here the host application I have developed is Streamlit application, and the LLM I am serving it through Ollama. Okay, and have written one server. That server, what it does is like summarize uh, Wikipedia articles. So I have developed a tool. Okay, so that tool and the host I have integrated using a client code. If you see here, this is the client code. Okay, so in the YouTube video as well, what I will be doing is like in the below section, below YouTube, after we upload the YouTube video, so I will be pushing it to the GitHub, and you can also use this code as well. You can understand, you can clone this, or you can try this code. Okay, so I am connecting MCP server and calling the summarization Wikipedia article. Okay, see here the server and the article. So this is and I'm writing one code, simple code, in order to integrate the client to the Streamlit application. Okay, so if you go to the answer generation part where it does, okay, see here, it generated the answer using the tool. I need to summarize the information about the India that provided in Wikipedia article. Let me start by reading through the summary and then check. So it is providing the summary. Okay, so if you see, open the article, right? So this is the article available in the internet. You can do the same thing for your company's infrastructure. Like if you have like company, they have, for example, if they have like a Jira, or if they have Slack channels, if they have any documentation related to any projects, or any previous projects, or anything, any kind of information. So you can just integrate all of this, and the AI agent will do the task on behalf of you related to any kind of research or any kind of information. Yeah, this is the other project as I have shown you. So if you have any doubts related to MCP, I will take that. So that's it for today. But as you got information like understanding, right, what is an MCP? So MCP, what it does is, in general, any number of tools, it can be any number of tools, that tools can be hosted as a server. Okay, and the host, the application, front end application, or anything that can be integrated with one Python script or one JavaScript. You can use Java, anything like mostly many of the companies are using Python, but MCP, if you see MCP, they have Node.js, see Python, TypeScript, Java, Kotlin, Swift, C Sharp, Swift. Okay, so they have these development kits. But most of the open source community, they are developing in Python. But Java will be Java also for sure. But yeah, so you write one Python, one script to integrate all the tools to the application, and the application already has access to an LLM. So that's how you can add any number of tools and any number of agents you can develop. So it will reduce the lot of code which we have to do in terms of like routing and you don't have to do any kind of routing. Everything is taken care by the LLM. So you are passing on most of the tedious task to the LLM. And right now, LLMs, the reasoning capability LLMs, those LLMs, what it does is they have like lots of reasoning capabilities. For example, so while they are going and doing one kind of work, for example, for a particular kind of query or question, so if they are doing a particular kind of work and it hit a roadblock, it was not able to get the information. What it does is like, so right, so these are the available tools. So don't use this tool because we were not able to retrieve the information, but search for the alternatives and do the same process again. So it only that LLM itself decides which tools to use. So then everything happens on the loop, on the go. Okay, so I will take some questions. Yeah, so you can raise hands if you want, and we will open discussion. Like you can ask questions also. So before that, uh, I will take the questions related in the chat section. So can you please share meeting recording? The meeting schedule is about to end action items. Okay, please share GitHub. What is the system configuration where you are running Ollama? What should be the minimum configuration requirement? Yeah, Ollama. So in Ollama, if you see Ollama as well, we have opened Ollama. Okay, Ollama. So Ollama has different models. So in 16 GB RAM computer, you can use like 4 billion up to 4 billion parameters. But I'm using currently 1.5 billion parameters of DeepSeek. It is working well to for a proof of concept. So here, yeah, is that an application that needs to be installed like Ollama? No, it's not an application. It's a open source web framework where you can develop front-end applications. It's something like React, but it is mostly for Python. Yeah. So yeah, I'm stopping, or else I'll stop sharing the screen for now. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Yeah. Hi, sir. So can you give access to like Arvind? He's raising hands so that he can ask question.
Hey, hi Pranay. Okay, I
Yeah,
have a
hi.
couple of questions. The
Sure.
first question is, what is the difference between RAG application and MCP?
Oh, yeah. That's a nice question. So what is RAG is retrieval augmented generation. Okay. So right now, so you want to build an AI agent, for example, let's say, and it also has access to RAG. RAG can be a simple tool to the agent. Okay. So AI agent is like different, right? So it can have access to, it can use RAG as well. For example, if you have internal data based in a company, that database has like 10 million records, and you are not sure how this agent will go through everything. Like it cannot go through each and every file, right? So what you can do in order to reduce the search space, along with that, in order to do agent work in a better way, you can use RAG. You can provide RAG as a tool for the agent. But there are other use cases where you can simply develop generative AI systems using RAG. Okay. So RAG can be a simple search based application, whereas agent, it can do different kinds of things. Hope you understood. Like you can add RAG as a tool for the agent. Okay, so that's what it is. Yeah, okay. You're not unmute. Okay. So let me check. I think
Okay. So we
yeah,
can use RAG and MCP together, or we have to
yes,
use
yes.
only one.
No, you can use. The thing is, MCP is an architecture level. RAG is
Okay.
a simple application type, or else it can be a tool. So, for example, agents, right? So, as we have taught you, like agents are different to RAG. For example, if you see how you can use LLMs, LLMs can be used in 4 to 5 different ways. One is like fine tuning. One is using RAG. One is using agents. Okay, and one is using like an application type, something like an application, a chat GPT application or something like that. Whereas in a company, if you want to use LLMs, you can use three: fine tuning, agents, RAG. But inside agents, you can give RAG as well as a tool.
Okay.
Okay, you can do the simple RAG, or else for agents, you can provide RAG as a tool. So
Okay.
that's what it is. So yeah, can we focus? Okay, yeah.
Pranay, I
So
have
can
one
we?
more question.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
Here, right, where we are creating the agents and defining the roles for the agents in the MCP architecture.
Yeah. So in the MCP architecture, so right now I have developed a simple application, right? Whereas if you use role LangGraph and create an system like the application. For example, if you see the agent can be right now, I told you the agent can be a summarization one, right? Like do summarization. But if that is like a one simple task, whereas I want to create an agent that acts as a manager. So I will create a one more agent and that acts as a uh, accountant, for example. And there is one more agent that acts as a researcher, for example. So that's where you use the prompting techniques. Right now for Ollama, I have used Ollama, right? So for Ollama, it doesn't have all of these capabilities because I am developing a local simple POC. Whereas if I want to use all of this, I will use LangGraph. Okay. And I will be using APIs using LangGraph, like different AI APIs, like ChatGPT, like OpenAI APIs, Google APIs. That's where we can use the earlier taught frameworks. So in order to explain MCP, I have used simple summarization using Ollama. Hope you understood.
Okay. Okay. So here we are only not we are not defining any agents here because this Ollama doesn't have any capability to
Yeah.
define agents, right? I mean to say.
Yeah. So right now, what I mean, yeah, that's what I mean to say. Right now, I have shown you how you can use MCP, but while using LangGraph, right? So you are using LangGraph. You want to integrate a tool. So that's where you can integrate LangGraph, MCP. So that's like a bigger project, for example.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Pranay, one more thing. See, in the architecture diagram, right? So
Okay.
you said host application. That is a client server. Is that the client server?
Yeah.
ID is a client server, you mean to say?
Yeah. Like a front-end application, host application, it can be anything. Yeah. Client server, the client server architecture, right? It will be the client. client-facing
Okay.
side.
Okay, that is client. So ID is the client, right?
Yeah.
So MCP server is your
Servers
database.
are like different tools that are exposed outside. Like servers can be databases, for example. So in your company, you have a database, and that database has a lot of different information related to different. For example, if you take Amazon or simple Flipkart or something like that. So those in databases, they have lots of information related to products. Okay. So, for example, if you have developed a application, something like where a user sends a query, something like I want a product related to uh, sunscreen, for example, and I want to have something like these are the capabilities and all. If you mention something like that, so it will goes to the database. It will search for the exact information. So servers can be anything, databases or weather API tools. So if any company is providing any service, like they are good at providing information related to, for example, if you see Google Maps, right? So they know, they have access to like what is the traffic right now. So what can be the traffic in like 1 hour, and they have information through the maps and everything. So they can host a MCP server for the maps directly.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, again, so what is a list of MCP server list? I didn't get that. What is the difference between MCP server and the list of MCP
Yeah,
server
MCP
list?
list is like a JSON configuration file. Okay, so right now, if you see in my Claude, here I have Weather, LinkedIn, Notion, Puppeteer.
Okay.
Okay, so this what I did in a modular style. I have already integrated MCP client here. Okay, I will edit. MCP client is already integrated to my application. Right now, I have one more server coming up today. Another team or another company has opened one more server, so they want to expose this server. So just what I will be doing is I will open this configuration file. So this is the Puppeteer server. Puppeteer use this command. So they're already providing that server in the MCP directly. So this is the commands that an MCP client can use in order to send a request to the server.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So here I can say that the server can be an application or the web URL or the database. It can be anything or API also, right? In this
Yeah.
case,
Anything. Yeah. Anything.
server doesn't mean that in this case, in the MCP, server doesn't
Mhm.
mean that it's a cloud server or a physical server. It could be anything
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
case.
It's not that. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So that is like different. So they have named. So this is they have taken client server architecture and they have developed this. So they have used those same mechanism and they have developed this. So that is different. This is different, but the idea is same. Okay. So yeah. So did Arvind ask question? Got it. Okay. I think no one has any other questions. I guess. Okay. What is the difference between before using MCP server and after using MCP, and why we use API again when using MCP server. So before using MCP server, for example, if you have a tool and you want to integrate that tool to LLM, so and you also want to do agentic nature, right? So what you are doing is you want to write a routing logic. Along with that, in order to use the company tool in your application, so you have to do some changes, especially, or else if you want to use something outside in your company infrastructure, you have to change a lot of things from their code base, and no one will provide you their code base. Along with that, if they expose a simple API, and if you want to use that API, it will be hard. Whereas they will be exposing their server, and in that server you can have any number of APIs. So if you see in the Claude as well, so Puppeteer here, they have right now enabled like 5 different APIs. One is like navigate API, screenshot, click, fill, select, hover, evaluate. So these APIs are all integrated into one server, and you can add many functionalities backend. So right now this helps different teams to work on different things. Whereas if you are not using MCP, so right now you have developed one more tool, and that tool, in order to integrate with the agentic environment, you have to add all the right routing logic for different other tools along with the LLM. So every time you have to change the code, it will be very hard. But whereas with MCP, so you will just make changes in configuration file, and in client you will add one more simple function, right? There is one more server available. Okay, so that's it. And why we use API? Can we guess? We use API anyhow, but what I'm trying to say is MCP servers, uh, they we can host anything, any kind of thing as an MCP server. So that's a wrapper basically. I mean, it will be something like difficult for some people to understand because it's a lot of technicality in it. Yeah, Sridhar, you can go ahead and ask.
Thank you for the information, Pranay. Just one question. This MCP, you said it's a protocol, right? So this is already
Yeah.
available in like public domain, and
Yes,
then we
it's a
just call
free.
it.
Yeah, it's a free open source framework that's developed by Anthropic. So they have. So what is the backstory is? So they were trying to develop agents, but anyhow, in a production environment, they were not able to uh, do well. So what they did was like they have developed this protocol in such a way that any other company can use this protocol. So like a lot of the abstraction layer, a lot of the code, uh, how to integrate client, server, and everything. That is everything written by uh, MCP itself, Anthropic itself. So you can use their code and just you can integrate all of your company's data, something APIs and everything. You can develop a server onto all together, and
So
yeah,
is
you
it
can expose
secure,
it to
Pranay?
the front end applications and anything.
Is it secure if we can, or can we use it
Yeah,
in
it is secure, and Google, every other company like HubSpot, Google, Intuit,
Mhm.
Amazon, everyone is using MCP to develop agents. And they have already developed agents as well. It's been like 6 months old, but they have already developed agents because they have already changed everything with the agent like MCP. So it's production ready already.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's developed by Anthropic. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Mhm. And one more thing. So for example, you have developed one agent, for example, and other company has developed one more agent. Like that agent is like something, it is very good right now. Okay. So how do we do agent to agent communication? So that's when Google came up with one more protocol called A to A, where how you can use agent to agent uh, uh, protocol to communicate between agents. Agent to agent. If you see here I will show you images. So if you see this image, okay, see here, agent. For example, this is one agent, right? So here there is an LLM, agent framework, MCP, and here there are lots of MCP servers, API, enterprise applications, anything. So this is one agent. How do I close it? I don't know. So here, what they did is like how this agent will communicate with this agent. So there is one more protocol. So that's developed like 3 months ago, but no company has developed any product because it's like it's in the development stage. But I will show you one video where you can see how agent to agent communication happens. Let me show you that video also. Okay, yeah, this is from Google. See, so what they are trying to do is, let me show you. So I am hiring for a staff software engineer position. Attached the job description. Can you help me fill the role? Okay, so this is doing a HR work right now. So this is a question that is a job description they have provided. Google has provided. So it thinks, agent space thoughts. So user submitted a job description for software engineering position and asked the source candidates. So job description includes something. Okay, let's see if I can find agents who can help me with that. Okay, so it is seeing what are the available agents available. So it has initialized agent protocol. So this agent protocol will help the application to source different agents. So this agent protocol has lots of agents. This is one agent. So this searches what is the best agent. So right now, what it does, it discovers the agent capable of scanning something based on the available agents in the tool registry. So there is one agent called sourcing agent. Okay. So seems like the best fit based on the boards on its diversity capabilities, sourcing candidates for one positions. So it has like a capabilities discovery. So it thinks. So then I am happy to help with sourcing the candidates for so then it is collaborating. Is there any preference? It is asking your inputs. Is there any preferences? Something like that. Okay. So if you see here, so he want global position, someone ideally in US timing, like plus or minus 3 hours, because in US, like the time zone is 3 hours difference, right? From East Coast to West Coast. So yeah. So then what happens? See here. Yeah. So I can send the top candidates as the plan. Okay. So it will try to identify. So if these people are directly provided by the sourcing agent, sourcing company. Okay, that is one more agent has provided this source. So then this agent, the current agent or the company's agent will try to do the 2 weeks later, then the interviews and everything. So after everything is done, so get update. So what happened? So these three candidates have been finalized and background check is in progress. So this is where a memory component is used. Okay, can you run a background check? So what are the companies available for background check? So for background check, there are like different agents, international background check agent. So it communicates with that agent. So can you do background for check for this? And that agent will ask, oh, we need this information. It goes back and forth. So that is what agent to agent protocol. Yeah, I think that's it for today. Yeah, hope you understood. It will be like little bit difficult to understand in an initial stage, but if you read articles along with that, if you yeah, spend more time, it is easier to understand. Once you understand, you won't forget the architecture along with that. It how it is helping to develop AI agents. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to KKR Gen AI Innovations channel.